Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode for the new Paradox game, Imperator Rome, where I am not going to play as Rome, though I probably will do that in the future. We are actually going to be starting up this campaign as Getia over here. I hope that's how you pronounce that. I don't know if it's Getia, Getia, Getia. I'm going to say Getia. Getia is going to be a settled tribe government, which is kind of midway in between a migratory tribe and between a actual proper government type. The settled tribe is somewhat civilized to the point where they're not going to just pick up and leave like the migratory tribes can, but they are not civilized enough to the point where they have a proper government type like an aristocratic monarchy or republic or anything like that. So we're going to have to try and work our way to become a more civilized people. At the start, we're going to start very tribal. We're going to have a lot of tribesmen, and you know what? Let's just get into the game. Starting with our traditions here, we're going to be part of the Greek traditions. There are quite a few traditions in the game, if you want to know. There are Italian traditions, and then basically everybody north of Italy and Greece is going to fall under the barbarian traditions. Like everybody up here shares those traditions. In Africa, we're going to have the North African traditions. In the Middle East up here, actually over here, is going to be the Persian traditions. The Seleucid Empire and all of these follow the Greek ones. And then way over here, you can even play as India, which are going to have their own list of Indian traditions. I believe that is all the traditions available in the game currently. So you have a few different types. If you want to try different games with different tradition trees, which we'll get into here in a moment, then that's the ones that you can expect. But we're going to follow the Greek traditions, and because of that, we're going to have the Phalanx ability and could unlock some others later on. Again, that's going to be much later in the game. So again, we are a settled tribe. So those icons there, the little building is our civilization level, is a plus 10%. Civilization is going to be a big deal to try and get ourselves out of a settled tribe and into a proper government type. And then I believe that is the tribesman happiness, plus 50%. There are 4 different population types. Tribesman is one of them. It's also one of our main ones as this particular faction. Religion, Zalmoxian, which is going to be the religion of this area. Our culture is Getian, which is going to fall under all of those cultures, I think, are belonging to the culture group. So it's the Dacian group, and Getian is going to be one of them, and we'll get into that anyway. Anyway, we got a ruler here, and what's kind of cool is that this is, I think, randomly chosen, because I've started a few different games to try and dip my toes in the water, and each time it's been a new leader. So our leader today is going to be Dotuzi Paporus. He's going to be our tribal chief, 25 years old, and he actually has pretty good stats. So kind of like in EU4, their stats here will also contribute to your nation's powers. So we have a 9 in martial, which I think the max I've seen is 12 with some buffs on them. 9 oratory, 1 in finesse is not the best, but also finesse is not the most powerful power in the game, at least I think so. And then 6 to zeal. So that actually, it's pretty solid character all around. Population, we're going to have 30 cities within the country of Getia here. Those are our populations, so this is going to be the citizens, freemen, tribesmen, and slaves. Very quickly, since we're on the screen, a real brief rundown of what these do. The slaves are all about tax income. The tribesmen are a split between taxes and manpower that is given to Getia here, or anybody actually. The freemen is all about manpower, and then the citizens are all about research and commerce. So it's like 2 different types of economies here. We have the slave and tribesmen, which is taxes, and then the citizens are on their own with commerce and then research. So it's going to be kind of interesting because like Rome starts with a lot of citizens, so their research is really good, but as a tribal people, you're not really going to have many citizens, so your research is going to be really bad and very, very slow. But on the flip side though, you're probably going to have a lot of tribesmen, so you may have a lot of manpower and a lot of tax income too. So it's a give and take. But anyway, so that's what the quick rundown of those are. We're going to play with a mixed gender rules option. That means anybody can serve in any role. This is something that we're going to have to activate within the game, and it will cost some of our power, so we will get to it eventually. And now we are ready to start the game. I'm going to try my best to not just turn this into Imperator Rome 101 and just go through all the screens. We're going to just kind of try and play it naturally, but the thing is, it's a Paradox game, so there is a lot to this. Just look at all these buttons. Look at all these things. Look at all that stuff. Whew. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do as Getia is we're going to change a map mode down to the political map mode. This is probably the map mode I'm going to play in most of the time. It's not as pretty as the terrain map mode, but I don't know. It's just easier to see who the people are. There is a light coloring here to kind of tell you different powers, but I just find it easier to play in this one. So at the start, as a tribe, a lot of cool stuff in this game that you're gonna have to know when you start playing it, is that as a tribe, oh, where do we even start, man? Let's go to our government type. So in our government, these are going to be all the different seats of power. This is screen shared, I believe, by everybody. So these are all actual characters, and on any of these characters, we can click on them, and then here are all their stats, what their spouses, children, all their family stuff is, their age, if they have any ambitions, they want to get married, and if this person does get married, then they will gain 10 popularity, which popularity is a stat here. But anyway, you can do a whole bunch of stuff here. It's pretty cool. But more importantly, for a tribe, a big thing is going to be your clan chiefs, which are actually going to be out here. These are going to be your different clan chiefs starting out. And again, I think this is randomized, or at least their names and stats are, at the very least. So, we have 3 armies, but there are 4 clan chiefs. Well, that's because the leader of the entire people of Getia is a clan chief, but they don't start with their own army. These 3, if we click on this army over here, they start with an army that is loyal to that specific person. So you'll know that a person or a unit of troops is loyal if they have the little hand icon. And what that means is that I cannot split these people away from this guy. They belong to him forever. Even if they're in a battle and they lose all their troops, this unit will remain and they will just get more troops put in. But, you know, a couple different things about that. And then after I explain this part, we'll get into the actual game because I don't want this to be a 2-hour tutorial on Imperator. Just some cool stuff I've noticed as I've been playing and kind of useful to know. So, the more loyal retinues that a clan chief has that is not the leader of the nation, if you go over to their loyalty, which is the hand here, you're going to notice that the loyalty changes by minus 0.33 each month. And you can see a number there, loyal cohorts, minus 0.53 a month. You're like, well, crap, so they're going to be losing loyalty. What does that do? Well, if their loyalty drops below 33%, they become disloyal. Now, that's bad, kind of, but it's not the end of the world. If one of your clan chiefs are disloyal, that's usually okay. It just means that within a war, you can't directly control their army anymore. They're just going to do whatever they want, which does kind of suck, but from what I've seen so far, they mostly will at least help you in the war, but they will be doing their own thing if their loyalty drops below 33. So it kind of sucks that their loyalty is already automatically dropping, right? It's a big deal. But the cool thing about their retinues and their cohort size is that if we click on their army screen here, for the attrition and the maintenance, well, right now the attrition is 0 because they're well supplied, but you'll notice that the maintenance cost for us is 0. That's because each clan chief actually takes care of their own retinue, because this is a specialized army. It is a retinue that this person specifically, you'll see that they have a wealth trait there below their stats. They actually pay for their own army, and throughout the course of the game, as they become richer, they will add more people to their own retinue. So you're going to have free troops, totally free. They are wage free, and even if they suffer attrition or losses in combat, you do not suffer that attrition to your manpower score up here. You do not incur that so like they take control of everything. So there is a good thing and a bad thing. If your, you know, clan chiefs get too strong, that loyalty is going to drop really low and they may become disloyal. On the other hand, though, a bigger free army is just more troops for you to use in a war, and then you have to try, you know, and manage the loyalty. So it's this really big thing of like, okay, how big do we want them to be? What do we have to do to try and manipulate their loyalty so that they like us, they are still loyal to us, but yet still try and get them as big as possible? Because again, these are just free armies to us. These cost us absolutely nothing, which is really cool. But anyway, so that's kind of a big thing you need to worry about, a back and forth of don't let them necessarily get too strong. Always keep an eye on their loyalty. Things that you can do to manipulate their loyalty early on would be to... Actually, we can't do it for this guy. That's weird. Maybe just because I have the game paused. Well, anyway, we'll dive into the game. So, my initial plan as Getia here is going to be, of course, war, because war is important. So, to do the war, I think we're going to first go off to the east after the Turgete, who currently hold no diplomatic relations with anybody. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is also try and form an alliance with our neighbors of Thrace, because as Getia, if you hover over this symbol over here, over your diplomacy, you're going to see that we are a regional power. And then those are all the benefits we won't get into right now. But since we are a regional power, and Targete, and actually everybody around us is going to be a local power, we cannot form alliances with local powers. Only powers that are equal or I think maybe even greater. So all we can do to a lesser power is offer a guarantee, which a guarantee means if someone declares war on them, then we will defend them. But if someone declares war on us, they won't defend us. It's just we are protecting them. So we want to try and find an ally, because as Getia, we have currently up to 5 diplomatic relations that we can use. Thrace is also a local power. Now, they don't like us that much, but we can go to relation actions, and we can spend 50 of our oratory power, which is up here, and I think oratory is probably one of the most important powers in the game, at least in the current state right now, and from what little I've played. Just a heads up. So we're going to improve our opinion up to plus 50. Now, if we hover over the alliance, you can see that we need at least one more positive than negative reason for acceptance. Right now, they're at minus 20 because they have a negative relation of us of minus 20. And this is going to improve by plus 50. So if we can get our relations up, then they will accept the alliance. There's also some other things we can do, like we can offer them military access if they ever want it, and that would also increase their relations with us. And so we can kind of get the alliance faster. And also the thing to know is that if you're in a war, the willingness to go into an alliance drops way, way down. They don't really want to ally with somebody who's currently in an active war. So before we go into a war, I think we want to try and secure an alliance with Thrace just so we have an ally in case something bad happens. And again, they are a regional power like we are, so we can do that. So we're going to improve opinion. Say yes. We have an embassy established, and now over time, we will get the plus 50 to our relation with each other. Okay, so next what we're going to do is just move our armies up here on the border, because I know that we're going to eventually want to take a war to Getian. But before we do that again, we're going to try and get an alliance with Thrace. Also, another thing to notice is that you may notice a stuttering. Now, I think that is a problem with the current build of the game, because I've talked to a few other people who have this, and they also have this stuttering thing. It's not really a resource issue, because like my resources on my computer are running about half. Like this game is not taking nearly the full amount of resources that my computer has, but yet it still has a stuttering issue as if it is. But again, I think this is just an issue with the build. It is an early access build, so hopefully that will get changed when the game actually does come out. So I apologize for the stuttering. I'll try not to move the camera as much as possible, though with these games I move all the time. It's just it's like a habit, but I'm going to try not to move because try to ignore the stuttering. Alright, so we got that done. Now we got some other buttons up here. So this button is telling us that there is a bad research ratio. That means out of all of our population, it tells you right here, we only have 11 citizens out of 142 people that are contributing to our research. It is a bad ratio. 11 out of 142 is not great. So if we go to the technology screen over here, here's our technology. Our research points is 0.9, which is not high. And you can see here our research efficiency is even telling us that it is way down. And what this basically means is that it's going to take forever for our people to research. This is the research screen. These are all individual people that we have assigned, or auto-assigned, to their jobs. We can kick them out if we want to, and there are reasons that you may want to do that later. But it's going to take forever to get to the next research level. And we can hover over any one of these and we can see exactly what we are getting. We can see exactly how fast it's going to go. And we can see that this is going to get to level 1 in June of 543 at our current rate. Now, if you look at the top right over there, friends, it's 450. It's a long time. So at some point, we may want to try and get more citizens in our empire to try and raise that research up. So that is the technology screen over there, and all this is telling you is that you have a bad research ratio. It's not a terrible message, it's just letting you know, like, hey, by the way, your research sucks. But it's fine. Now, over here on the right side of the screen, we have a whole bunch of buffs that are going to be if we click on them, are going to be active throughout the entire game. And whenever a new level of technology is researched, we're going to generate 3 more of these. Now, these use the, what is this? Civic power. And from what I've seen, civic power basically only goes into this and like 1 or 2 other things. It's not a very strong power in my mind, other than just getting you these inventions, of which we now need to get 2. We have 200 civic power. We might as well try and get a buff to our people. So we should try and get the most important buffs early on. Eventually we will be grabbing all of these because our technology is so slow that we don't have to worry about new ones being generated and pushing these ones out, because it's not going to be a problem. So for us, I am going to choose the National Tribesman Output plus 5%, because if we go into our nation overview Here's our tribesmen, and you can see we have most of tribesmen. You can also hover over here and see the exact ratio. We have 96 tribesmen out of all of the different population types, so I kind of want to make sure that they are outputting the most in the beginning. So let's go back to the technology screen. We're going to grab the national tribesmen output, so they are doing more stuff. I will say yes. And then tax, as I said earlier, tribesmen go towards taxes. So if we go into our economy screen, so there we go. If you go to the economy screen, you can see we have taxes, commerce, and tributes. Commerce comes mostly from your citizens, of which we have very little, but we have a ton of tribesmen, which is why we have a lot of money here in the taxes. So I like money. Go figure. So we're going to go back into the technology screen and click national tax plus 5%, because that's going to be the biggest hit for us for our money currently. There is another one here that I believe raises commerce, but that's going to do basically nothing, because a 5% increase of almost nothing is still almost nothing, but plus 5% of almost nothing, which is still terrible. All right, so that's our inventions. We'll be coming back to that screen here soon. Let's unpause the game. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Omens. Omens you can get to through the religion screen. This screen is also where you will see your national unrest, which usually pops up because of war exhaustion. If you're at war for a long time, you'll see your actual war exhaustion number over here and how that affects anything else. So our current omen power, this is a pretty big deal. Omen power is going to make all of these omens more powerful. Go figure. We are going to select, I think all of these are really good, but in the beginning of the game, I think population growth is going to be the most important thing. You want more pops. More pops gives you more things. So I'm going to hit the blessing of Semeli. I don't know if that's how I pronounce it. So we get a national population growth of 0.24. It's a very small number, but these games are all about adding a bunch of small numbers together to get a whole big thing. So now we have that omen. It's going to be active until 18th of December, 1455. So in 5 years, we will be able to change this. It does cost 200 omen power, which we can track up there. So that is okay. So our omen is now gone. All of our messages are gone, except for an unused trade route in the capital. Trade is a big deal in this game as well, and there are a ton of trade goods. We can go and hover over the trade goods map, and you can see that there is grain, woad, grain, there's fish, there's salt, there's wine, there's iron. But an easy way to see everything is, let's just hover over what we got currently. We have woad, and it's going to break down exactly what this does. There's a lot here, but all cities in the province have the following benefits. The tribesman happiness plus 10% because we have woad within the province. But you're going to notice that there's a number over that because we have a surplus. So because we have a surplus, it gives us a bonus 2% per surplus of woad we have in this province. So right now we have a plus 12% to our happiness for tribesmen because we have technically two worth of woad. But also this is our capital province of our country. So any surplus that your capital has, it passes a bonus onto the rest of your empire. So it's very important for you to have surpluses first within your capital so that it can then spread. So for woad, at the bottom of this list, you can see that as this is the capital, the following benefits are now applied to your entire country. So not only does this one province get the local tribesman plus 10%, everybody does because we have a surplus. We also have a surplus of grain, giving the entire country national manpower plus 10%. Although I guess that doesn't necessarily apply to the entire country. That's just, well, it does. Anyway, we have national manpower plus 10% because we have an extra worth of grain, also local population growth. Honey, we do not have a surplus in. So what I am doing, or what I typically have done, is I've gone to the trade routes, and I kind of look to see what is available. Currently, absolutely nothing is available. Holy crap. These are all the different resources in the game. Strategic gives you access to actual units, like heavy infantry, elephants, better horses, heavy horses, light horses, camels. But yeah, no one is available. That's kind of weird. Let me unpause the game. Maybe it needs to kind of tick through a month, but this has never happened. There's always been something worth trading. In any case, we're going to try and look for either like a surplus of leather, surplus of stone, furs, or honey so that we can apply the surplus bonus to our entire country. And if we can't find one, then we'll look for something that can just benefit our capital province here. Very weird. This is the first time I've seen nothing available. That is unfortunate. Trading is kind of a big deal in this game. Huh, okay, well, that's fine. So, we'll get to trading later. Right now, I was checking my other provinces. There are 4 here, technically. There's one right here that shares a province with those. But no one has any kind of trade routes except for our capital. That is very... I guess we'll just come back there. Is there really nothing? I've played like 3 test games so far learning this game, and there's always been something worth trading. That's weird. Anyway, we'll get back to trading later. So right now, what we are currently waiting for is our relationship with the Thracians here to rise up. If they ever want, if this ever goes to a check mark, we can offer them military access, and that will raise their opinion of us as well. We can also send gifts. Actually, we can send gifts and get this done really fast. Am I willing to give up 20? How much? 17 gold. Let's see. We are currently in the positive by 2.74. We have 100 gold. I kind of want to get this war started up as soon as possible before they form like any alliances or anything. So, yeah. I'm going to send them a gift, raising their happiness up to +10. So now we're only 10 away? 5 away. So now we need to wait a little bit longer. Oh, one thing that I saw there. So you see these little things over here? So if we right-click on our country, we have our ideas. I'm sorry, actually, we need to go to our nation overview. There we go. So these are our ideas. We currently are blank. We can fill that in here in a moment. And it's very important that we do, because if we get the ideas in here that match the symbols over here, we then unlock additional 2 points for our military, civic, you know, all of these things. We get +2 per month to all of these resources up here, and that's very, very important. Also, it's going to raise our country civilization level, which could get us closer to, well, civilized country, which is also really cool. So let's dive in here. Click on this. You don't have to match these ideas, so we could get a civic idea if we really wanted to, but we wouldn't get this bonus. And I think this bonus is very large, or very, very important. So out of the military ideas, we have a morale of armies +10%. Morale is always great. Morale is how long your units are going to stay and fight on the field. Very important stat, at least I feel like. Trireme cost is going to be ships. I don't care about ships right now. Reinforcement speed and army morale recovery. So as you lose troops, you just get them back faster and your recovery and morale faster. Out of these, I'm going to go with the morale of armies. I think that's the most important stat for the military. And then for this, we have to do an oratory idea. So we have monthly corruption minus 0.1, which corruption is a stat that on characters that are employed. So they are generals, they are your council. This, if their corruption is raises, their wages raise, because you pay everybody who has a position of power in your empire. So that's kind of important if you have corruption problems. Monthly general loyalty and admiral loyalty, I think, is going to be the biggest issue you're going to have, at least as a tribe. I haven't played Rome yet. I haven't played one of the other proper government types. But as a tribe, it's very important to try and keep the loyalty of your clan chiefs and their armies on your side. So I do whatever I can to make sure that happens. But the other one is improve opinion maximum +33%. So our current improving relations with Thracia would be improved by 33%, which is not bad. Playing a diplomatic game, not bad. But for me, I need to do everything I can to keep my generals loyal. So we're going to hit that button. And since we have the ideas matching the categories here, we now have a positive +2 to all of our powers until this changes. So that's fantastic. Fantastic. Also down here, we can see a rundown of all of our different... Love the UI here. So we can just hover over this and you can see that these things are getting highlighted, so you know exactly where they are. There's a lot of highlighting in this game, and it's very useful. But we can also see that each of these provinces have a policy. And honestly, I don't really like these policies that the game gave us at the start. Now, this little icon shows that this is us. This is the current ruler of the place, and we can change these policies at will. But if it's someone who is not the leader, I believe it will cost us tyranny. Yeah, so we would get tyranny because the governor chose this policy, and we're like, yo. I know you're in charge, kinda, but I'm stepping in. So because of that, we then get tyranny, and tyranny is tracked up over here. I have actually never gotten tyranny yet, so I don't know what kind of negative impact it gives you. It's probably bad. It's called tyranny. I may actually do it right now, because what this is that this is lowering the output of the entire population within that province by 75%, but it is raising their happiness. And do we really need to do that? Is their happiness that big of a problem? So let's like click on this province of Zargidova. And if we click on one of these icons, we can then see the happiness here, and then we can hover over it and see what is affecting it. So their happiness currently is 100% in this city. This isn't province-wide. This is just this specific city within the province. But the tribesmen are totally happy, so let's exit out of that. Let's click on the freemen. Freemen are currently at 52%, and 25% of that is because of the local autonomy. We can see here that our ruler is currently unpopular, so that is a negative 4.8%, which we can change that if we have our leader go to war. If our leader is like leading a stack of troops, you will gain popularity if you win battles. So we can raise that way. And I think, well, let's see this. Happiness directly affects the productivity of a population. Happier pops will have a higher productive output than unhappy. If a pop's happiness falls below 50%, it will also produce unrest. So yeah, actually, if we did take away the local autonomy of this specific province, it would start to cause unrest out of these two people. But it would not cause unrest out of our tribesmen, though. And the freemen are such a small part. I don't want them to rebel against me, though. You know what we can do, though? We can actually assign troops here to combat any unrest that there is. Well, at the very least, let's change our home province one, because we don't want our people working at 75% less, and I doubt our happiness is going to fall low enough in our capital region. So we have a bunch of different choices here. Acquisition of wealth to get more tax, and again, tax is going to be applied to our tribesmen and our slaves. But our governor's wages, which would be the actual tribe leader here, their wages will go up per month. So we're going to be spending more money to pay ourselves, I guess. Religious conversion is if we have a lot of people from different religions, which we don't need to worry about right now. Don't need to worry about the cultural assimilation either. Bleed them dry is kind of bad. The tax goes way up, but the population growth goes down. And it's local unrest. It's a terrible one, so we probably will be changing that one. I think one of our provinces is running that. Let's see. Yeah, this one. But on the flip side, though, this is only one city. Like, this whole province, we're only affecting this one city. So there's one population getting hit by the governor policy here. So it's not that big of a deal. So I don't think it's really worth spending the oratory points and getting tyranny for changing this. It's only one city. That's going to be fine. Anyway, back to our capital city. We can encourage trade to get more trade and goods, but we don't currently have any trade available to us, so what's the point in that? Local citizen output minus 20%, and a 5% chance that one pop in every applicable province city will be promoted or demoted, aiming at reaching an even split between citizens, freemen, and slaves. So this is if you just want a, well, like it says, an even split amongst all of your population. You just want an even split between research, manpower, money, and, you know, slaves and all that. Not going to do that either. I think what I'm going to do... Normally I would encourage trade, because I think trade is very important. But I guess right now, let's just get some more money. Let's get local tax plus 10%. And we'll pay ourselves more money. What is our wages anyway? Here we go. Wealth changes by 0.17 each month due to ruler plus 5%. Okay, that's not too bad. We can afford that. All right, so we changed a province thingamabob policy there. Okay, sorry, this game. I know this video is kind of going into Let's Learn Imperator, the video. It's hard not to in a game like this because there's so much. There's still so much I haven't even said that I want to dive into, like the military screen. So these are the traditions that I went over in the very beginning of the video. These are the Greek traditions. There are 3 different categories. You can mix and match, but with each tradition that you pick, this number will go up in cost. So just be mindful of that. We'll get to that here in a little bit as I can actually gain a tradition. Let's check the trade again. Has any trade opened up? Literally nothing. Nothing has opened up. Okay. How's our relations with you? Still can't get an alliance. We still need 4 more. Let's go into speed 4. And again, I'm going to try not to move the camera that much. Oh, God. It's a really bad stutter. I hope it gets fixed. But again, this is an early access build, so not final build. What other things can we do while we wait? Macro builder is pretty handy if you want to build specific buildings, recruit specific units. Promote pops. Promoting pops would be if you want to turn a slave into a tribesman, tribesman into a freeman, so on and so forth. Hey, a child is born. Our tribal chief has now got a new family member. Little baby right there. Look at that little baby. Okay, that's cool. Oh, you know what we can do? We can maybe change our loyalty of our generals here. Or not. Huh. Usually, in my test games, there's been a button here that allows us to basically increase their corruption at the cost of loyalty. So raise their loyalty, but give them more corruption. And I've been hitting that button because I find loyalty to be very important. But for some reason... There it is! Give free hands. So, free hands, if we take it away, they lose 10 loyalty. But, for 2 years, they will gain a monthly loyalty of 0.25, but a monthly corruption of 0.20. And again, corruption, the higher that the corruption is, the more money we have to pay them. But loyalty is a pretty big deal, and all of our clan chiefs here are going to be losing loyalty at the beginning of the game because they have so many dang loyal cohorts. So I think that as long as you have the money, like listen, corruption's not great, but I think loyalty is more important. So I'm going to hit free hands here. So now they got the free hands for a couple years, and now it at least lowered the amount that they're losing loyalty. It sucks. Having disloyal clan chiefs is terrible, but having free armies is great. Disagreement on the highest level. So this is with Roles Zenicus, who should be one of our clan chiefs. The Zenichi retinue. So this is his guys over here. Anyway, a man of sound reputation and Rhodes Zenicus, a nobleman of great virtue, have recently started to spar furiously. Oh, they're sparring within the family. Oh, the clan chief, and then he is the high priest and a friend of the clan chief. Okay, of the Natopori clan. So of these people. And he's a member of the Zenichi family. So they are rivaling right now. Alright. Such behavior is unbecoming of these people of stature, however. We have been called upon to take a side in the latest conflict. So we can side with Tarbus, who's the actual clan chief here. And if we do, his loyalty will raise by 10, and the loyalty of our high priest will go down by 20. Now, as a high priest, the high priest does not have a retinue. So let's actually quickly check our high priest over here. So there he is, Roles Zenicus. Click on him there. I guess we probably could have clicked on him from right here. Probably, yeah. Anyway, let's hover over his loyalty. So his loyalty is currently not going up or down at all. So what that tells me is that we can take a hit of 20, bring him down to 55, and it wouldn't cause any kind of problems at all. And our clan chief, who's leading part of the army, would even be more loyal, which is very important. What's the other options we have here? Detozi, our tribal chief, becomes friends with Roles, the high priest. So the high priest will gain loyalty, but the tribal chief, the clan chief, will lose loyalty. That's terrible. Or we can have them both lose loyalty, and then the tribal chief, which the tribal chief in this game is the leader of the Getia, gains popularity. Which is important, because popularity... let me just double check to make sure I'm right here. I am still learning the game. I think popularity affects... Yeah, so you can see there. Ruler unpopular. Now, this is really going to only hit the freeman type of populations, because the tribesmen have so many buffs on them right now, they're not going to be, you know, upset about the ruler being unpopular. But popularity is kind of important. But is it more important than loyalty? I don't think so. We're going to side with Tarbus in this one. I want my clan chiefs to be as loyal as possible. All right, let's check this again. Ooh, give military access. Here we go. So, we are only 2 away, but that's fine. Let's give them... Ooh, actually... Yeah, let's give them military access. It's going to raise their opinion of us by 8, so we're going to do that. So now they have military access to our territory. But now, there we go. So now, on the 28th of November, we can then send another person over there and be like, yo, you want an alliance? And they will accept. We will have a buddy. And more importantly, that buddy will help us in future war. Oh, let me pause it. Offer alliance. There we go. So now we are allied with Thrace, which we can check over here. I'm going to be using this mode a lot during wars. The diplomacy mode. This tells you who you are, well, trading with, I would say, if we were trading with anybody. But this also shows our allies and will show our enemies. And it's a lot easier to do wars, I find, in this type of map mode. But yeah, so they are now our ally. And because they are our ally, I am now going to be inclined to attack these people. But now here is a dilemma. So, to... attack somebody, you're going to need a CB, a Casus Belli, which is going to be in... Where is that? Improve opinions? Covert actions. Here we go. You're going to need to fabricate a claim against that person. It's going to take 200 oratory points. We only have 99 right now. There is another thing that we can do. We could just declare war without a CB, but if we do, our stability will be reduced by -2. Stability is currently improving our tax, research, we don't really have much of that, but it also improves our ruler popularity gain and loyalty of subjects. Loyalty of subjects doesn't really matter. The sacrifice to the gods is a way that we can increase our stability in this game. So if we click on religion, this little button here uses omen points to raise the stability of your country. And so it costs more to raise your stability when you're already positive. That's why we have that plus 50% there. So like now it's like, do I want to go into the -1 stability? Typically, probably not. But then we have to wait a little while to get 200 oratory points. And I think we may just have to do that. I don't really want to take the diplomacy yet. Ooh, we have a trade offer here. So, The Dacian local power of Talatea is requesting to import one of our leathers from the province of Getia, which should be... Here we go, the province of Getia. We do have one surplus of leather. The surplus of leather is giving this province plus 5% to their recruitment speed, which honestly, I don't really care about recruitment speed. So that means I'm kind of willing to let this go, because we're going to get paid 0.49 each month. So before you click on this, it's tempting because you're like, oh my god, I'm going to earn money. Hell yeah, money is great. But before you do, read this and see where they're getting the resource from, and see if you still have a surplus of that, and if you want to maintain the surplus. So that's why I checked here. Leather, I don't care about the recruit speed. I do care about the money more than the recruit speed. And also, since we will be exporting the leather, it also gives all of our light infantry defense plus 5% as long as we are exporting leather. So there's that's pretty cool. So we're going to get money and a buff to our light infantry. More important to me than recruitment speed. So I will accept that offer. So now we are exporting that one surplus leather. We still have leather in this province, so we still do have an increase in cohort recruit speed, but it is a little bit less now because we do not have the surplus. Do we have any trade? There we go. Okay, so trade has opened up. So an important trade to have, I think, is going to be iron, because iron will give you access to heavy infantry, of which we do not have access to right now as Getia. Unfortunately, no one wants to trade that with us. So the next important thing for us to check is going to be what we have. So we have leather. We know we don't care about a surplus. Stone, local fort defense plus 25% is something that I don't necessarily care about, but what do we get if we get a surplus of stone, and is that available? Stone is available. So each surplus of stone will provide us in that province additional local defense for the fort. But if your surplus is in the capital, then everything in your empire costs 10% cheaper to build, which is pretty cool. So that is very tempting to get that, again, in our capital province. What is next? Furs. Furs gives starting experience for our new units. What happens if we get a surplus of furs? We get starting experience for anybody recruited anywhere. I don't know how important experience is, honestly. I haven't really been favoring that heavily, so we're going to say, Then we also have honey, which improves our freeman population by 5%. Is there any honey out there? Honey, honey, honey. Where? I must be looking right over. Cloth, incense. Where the hell is... Oh, there it is. Okay. Honey. So, if you have a surplus, we get a diplomatic reputation of +2. +2 basically is going to give us a +2 that everyone will like us. They'll like us by +2 more, I believe. Which is not that big of a deal, but again, in these games, it's small increments. This game is all about small increments leading up to big changes. So that's not the worst thing ever, but also there's no honey available. So, stone, I think we want, because it makes everything in our country cheaper. So let's hit that. I'm going to be trading with Tribalia, and I believe Tribalia is actually down here. Yeah, there they are. So we're going to trade with them. There we go. So now we have 10% cheaper. That is fantastic. We have one more trade route open here. So what happened there? That's weird. Everything else is gone? We should be able to use our second trade route. How is everything gone? That's very odd. This is the first time that trade has been like this in any of the games I've played. That's very, very odd. Anyway, up here, we have some requests for trades. So someone wants our livestock from Roxolania. Roxolania is here. We have +2 surplus. Each surplus of these is giving us a 0.02 local population growth. I think local population growth is very important, but what will we get from this? Freeman promotion costs. What that means is it will be cheaper to promote our freemen into citizens in our country, because we'll be exporting it. So I think that is a countrywide bonus, and it will also earn us money. So do I view that more important than having a 0.02 in growth? Honestly, I'm not going to be promoting anybody right now because it takes oratory points, and I think oratory is very important. But the 0.52, man, population growth I think is so important. I know it's such a small number, but again, bunch of small numbers adds up. I'll take the money though. I will accept your offer. What do you want? They want the vegetables from the province of Getia. Let's see, vegetables. Okay, so vegetables increase our supply limit by 0.250 for having a surplus. This is not our capital province, so we don't get the capital surplus bonus. So 2.5? Yeah, you know what? That's fine. We'll also get move slave costs of minus 10%. So you can move populations around, so this will make it cheaper to move slaves around our country if we want to. But plus, we also get 0.49 gold. So I will accept that. Let's get away from that. There we go. Trade, I think, is fantastic. There we go. Okay, we open up some more. All right, so we know we don't want leather. We don't really want furs. We want honey, maybe, but they don't offer it. So now we're looking for things that are going to improve our country. Again, this is the capital, so we can, well, we're not going to get a surplus, unfortunately. We will just get one thing. Let's see, precious metals. Each surplus in the province, well, we're not going to have a surplus, so that doesn't really matter. This will get local citizen happiness plus 10%. Citizens are a population type that we don't have basically any of, so that does not matter at all. Wine. Freeman happiness. If you have a surplus in the capital, the army maintenance cost is a pretty good buff, but unfortunately we don't have any wine in here, so we won't have a surplus. We'd only have just one. We would need at least two for that to be a thing. Olives improve slaves. We don't have too many slaves, so that's also not super important. I probably will get one of these growth ones. So for the growth resources, we do have livestock, and that's it. So we can get grain, which grain will give us a population growth bonus of 0.1%. So that would be pretty cool. Wait, surplus in the capital. We currently... Oh, right. This is the province where we do have grain. Okay, ignore that I said that. It's fish that we are missing. There we go. Fish would give us a local population growth of 0.05. Okay. Yeah. I think growth is important. So let's trade with... Yeah, let's trade with Thrace. Perfect. That's our ally. And I think we even maybe get money from this as well, maybe? Maybe not. Anyway, there we go. So we finally used both of our trade route. Excellent. We are waiting until we get enough points so that we can declare war on these people. They still have no diplomatic relations at all. We could offer a guarantee. I don't want to because I want to take their territory forcibly. Another trade. Jeez. Our furs. And we would get starting experience and money. The furs, we do have a surplus. They are giving us starting experience. So this is interesting. We're basically trading away our surplus fur and then applying that surplus bonus to the entire nation and getting money for it. That is a win-win, friends. That is a win-win. Okay, we will take that trade. So again, I think it's very important that you keep checking those trade messages because in my first game, I was just like, yeah, money, yeah, money, yeah, money. And then I really looked around and I was like, wait a minute, I kind of want some of those surpluses though. So check each one of those, friends. Still have a bad research ratio. That is fine. What else could we do? Decisions. So this is a pretty cool tab where we can employ our the thing that we clicked in the very beginning of the game. We would need to spend 100 oratory power so that both men and women can serve in office. And that is very important because it now expands the pool of people that you can assign as governors, as generals, as anything to your entire population, which we can check in the characters tab. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in here. There's a lot of stats. I have yet to really delve super deep in here, but there is a cool filter system in here where you can filter by, gender, if they are imprisoned or not. That's actually a very important one because you will capture people during wars, and so you can go in here, find where they are, and then you can do stuff with them. Then we can also do the show family, which I think this is a more important screen, which I think I'll delve into maybe a little bit later if we have a problem with one of our families. But in any case, like, if we wanted a new general, only the men could serve currently. And the men, like, this guy has a military score of 0. Well, that's a shitty general, but how about his wife? His wife is a +4 to commander skill. There we go, that's a lot better than 0, right? 2 is not that great. But anyway, I think it's very important to expand your use to everybody in the family because then you have so many more people to pull from. If one of your council members dies, like our arbiter is lowering the amount of aggressive expansion, which is not a thing we've really dealt with right now. We will be when we go to war. A very important thing to have. And what if they die? And then, like, what if all the males have like a 2 in their oratory skill, but then like a lady out there has an oratory skill of 10? It's like, well, shit, I can't use her because I didn't make equality a thing. So I think that's a very important thing to click, unless you want to be super what's the word, like true to history and like women couldn't serve in these things. But listen, I'm here to play the video game. Tarbus Syndicus is one of our more prominent clan chiefs and a strong leader of his people. Tarbus, this guy, Tarbus. Okay. Let's see. And Dinzabalis Drami has suggested moving some of the clan under our authority. He is the war chief and next likely of the... Oh, so he's like the person who may take over? Maybe? Such a move would surely put us at odds with Tarbus, but secure our own authority at the cost of his. So all the clans belong to us. Spend 100 of our oratory power, which we need to declare war without losing stability. So that's already like a but we gain 3 centralization. Okay, what else do we get? 10 prominence for our main character, who's already at 100, so that doesn't matter. Tarbus, which is one of our clan leaders and one of our army rulers, would lose 20 loyalty, 20 prominence. Getian slaves in Ordisia moves to Komidava. I think those are cities. And then Ordisia gets tribal movement until 1462 for 10 years, local unrest +1, which is not a terrible thing. We can take care of that pretty easily. But we also gain 3 centralization, which I'll show here in a moment. Second option, 50 oratory power, 2 centralization. So these are like lesser impacts. Okay. Or then we can do this one, let things progress naturally, where Tarbus will gain more loyalty, but Dinzabalis will lose 10 loyalty. Let me click on you. So you are clan chief of the Drometi? Okay. And your loyalty is currently lowering anyway. Alright, well, let's take a quick look at the centralization here, friends. So centralization, you can see through our government screen, is currently at 0. We want this to raise because I think when we get this up to 100%, we can then, I think, change our government type to leave the settled tribe and get like a proper government through one of these decisions, I think. Again, I'm learning this game still. But I think centralization is pretty important, so this is kind of tempting. But spending all that oratory power right now when I want to declare war, I don't think 3 centralization is going to be worth it. So I think instead, we're going to hit this. So this guy's going to lose 10 loyalty. This other guy will gain a little bit of loyalty. So, yeah. If I wasn't looking to declare war, I think I would have definitely jumped at the chance of raising our centralization at all. At all. Which we're almost there. We can almost declare war, finally. Anything else you want to do? Can't do much there. Religious power, as far as I know, is only used to change the religion type of your population, which we have a unified population right now, so we don't need to do that. A call of arms from Thrace. Thrace is in a war. Who are you at war with here, buddy? Let me right-click on them. Oh my god. Okay. We're on the diplomacy map mode, so we can see that Thrace is currently at war with Athens. Phrygia, Cappadocia, Aeolia, Ionia, Astarchos. They are friends with Macedon, though, so Macedon should also answer this call of war, but they are currently fighting their own little war down here. So I don't know if they are going to. Let me unpause. Let me see if they join in this war or not. Oh man, this is going to be tough. Macedon is currently not joining in this war. Interesting. Okay, so Thrace currently has 10 cohorts. These have 41, 9, 8. Who else are they at war with? The Cappadocia? 9, okay. Huh. That seems pretty bad. I mean, they do have a choke point here. They could hire mercenaries. That's a thing. Oh boy. Also, I sneeze. Sorry about that. Oh, I hate those things that sneak up on you. Alright. This is tough, friends. This is tough. They are outnumbered. If Macedon joins in, then I think we may have a chance. But so far, they're not. I don't think they are. Right? Because you're at your own war with people in southern Greece. Oh, man. This is a big decision. We either cancel our alliance or we go all in. Let's stand by our allies here. I will answer your call to war. Oh, man. I don't know if we can win this. This could be the shortest campaign ever. What happens if I decline? I've never actually declined before. There's no way they can win this. Right? Without Macedon joining in? Let's do it! Cannot move here. Unit lacks access. Okay, you better give me some access here, buddy. There we go. Alright, friends, we're marching down to war a little earlier than I expected. At least also against someone else who I was not expecting to go. This is going to be such an easy war, such an easy land grab, and oh my god, we don't have it anymore. Ah. It's fine. So now we're going to have to raise some more legions. We don't want to give these legions to our current clan chiefs. They have their own retinues. They're paying for them. Let them pay for them. We're going to raise up a new legion. So let's just go to the macro builder. We'll go to recruit cohorts. There's a lot of choices here. I'm going to focus on the cheap stuff for right now, I think. So let's do light infantry. Say 6, and then we'll recruit just basic archers. Alright, so we're going to have our clan chief, the tribal chief, actually rule over those words. Oh my god, we're marching on to war. Alright, well, some other options we have now here that we can look at is you can actually do a lot of automation here. So, like, we can click on select unit objective, and then you have these units that the AI will then follow. They can do whatever they want. They will stay within your borders and automatically track down armies that are running through your borders. Fight rebels, self-explanatory. Reconnaissance is kind of neat. They will just run around, and if they find somebody, they will just run away. But, you know, they are discovering armies for you. And they keep in reserve. They stay in reserve. They just kind of stay back and out of fights from what I've seen. So that's pretty neat. Also, something that you need to worry or think about are these actions up here. So these are the actions, the tactics that this specific army is going to follow, and each tactic kind of is favorable to a specific unit type. Like this skirmishing is very powerful for us because it is focused on archer and light infantry tactics. This tactic will counter bottleneck and cavalry skirmishing. This army would get a bonus to their, I believe it's attack damage and morale damage if they fight against another army who's using these two tactics. So that's what all these images over here. We can also go into phalanx. I think phalanx is only unlocked because we have the Greek traditions. I don't believe other traditions have phalanx at the start. Unfortunately, though, this is, I think, more of a heavy infantry thing. It still does get affected by light infantry a little bit. But for right now, our most powerful tactic would be to run the skirmishing. So we're just going to pop all of these armies into skirmishing. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there is no way to tell what enemy army is running before you actually go into combat with them. Like, I can't click on an enemy army. I can't actually see anybody right now. But I have not found a way to find what tactics they're running and try and counter them that way. The only way I've seen their tactics is when the combat actually starts. That's the only way I've seen. All right, let's move all these people over here, and then we will give them a leader. I cannot believe we are going to be fighting against the entire known world. Let's go into... Wait. Why doesn't it show this is our enemy? We're in war now, right? Oh, did I not hit accept? Wait. What? Did I not hit accept? But I'm still allied with you? No! I must have hit decline. Oh. Really? Wait a minute. Wait. The Getian opinion of Thrace is minus 135 because because we dishonored the alliance or because they did? Had to be because of us, but why would we hate them for us? Why wouldn't they hate us if we dishonored their alliance? They dishonored... Friends, I'm very confused as to what happened. I swear I clicked yes, but I must have clicked no. But by breaking off the alliance, the Getians now hate the Thracians, but not the other way around? I gotta watch that back. I gotta watch that back. So we're not in this war. And we're not allied with you anymore. So those oratory points that we spent trying to get an alliance now mean absolutely nothing. But that may be a good thing. Okay. Alright, friends. Little confused. I'm gonna have to watch this back. I guess that means that we can then go to war against these people. They have no alliances. Let's fabricate a claim. There we go. We spent all of our oratory points. Now we can declare war in about a month. Let's get in position and get this army together. What the heck? Okay. They want our vegetables from the province of Zargridafa. Wait. Okay, so they want it? What is Zargridafa? Here we go. Vegetables give us the supply limit, so you know what? I'm okay giving that away. There we go. Very weird. I must have clicked no, but then why would we hate them and not them hate us if I did click no? Oh, I'm so confused. It's fine. We will just go with our initial plan of attacking these people. We will merge this army up. We are going to assign a commander. And we're going to assign our clan chief, tribal chief, I think is what it's called. So, he is steadfast. Oh, yeah, you know what? This is actually pretty important. To hover over these traits before you assign a commander. Also, it's very important to have a commander, in most cases, that has a very high martial ability. The only times that I've used someone as a leader, if they're not a martial ability, is if that family is considered a scorned status, which basically means you need to give them money or a position in your government, which also includes generalship. So, we'll get to that later. But anyway, his trait... Steadfast is going to give discipline to heavy infantry and war elements, or war elephants, sorry, which we don't have. But at the same time, he's still a pretty damn good leader. So let's assign him as leader here. And any battles that he is a part of and that he wins, or maybe that's the battles that he is the leader of, like the military leader. In any case, if he wins fights, he will gain popularity, which is very important for your leader to have because then people like you more. Well, it's not the most important thing, but it's nice to have. In any case, let's march you up. Hey, since we have military access to these people, I guess we just march in through their lands. What do we got here? They want our grain from Getia. Or Getia. Grain. This is giving us a 0.5 population growth. We would get national manpower plus 5%, which goes towards our manpower up here. Which has been lowered a lot because I just raised 12 cohorts, expecting I was going to war with the world. I didn't even need these 12 cohorts to fight these people. The problem is, though, disbanding the people will not give us the manpower back, and it will actually cost us money. If we hover over this troop type, you can see... where is disband unit? Well, they're moving, but normally it would cost us 6 gold to disband them, and I don't believe we get the manpower back, so there's really not a huge reason to do that. Also, why are you not... Here. There we go. We will accept this. Anyway, manpower is a good thing. Alright. Also, this video has been going on for about an hour, so I think before we start this war... What? What? The industrious folks of Acrotones have excelled themselves, contributing their own personal funds to develop the infrastructure of their fine city. We hope this attitude can be mirrored. The city of Acrotones gains a granary. Okay, granaries are 100 gold, and they boost population growth. Fantastic. Wonderful. I love it. In fact, let's go build another granary. So let's go to the construct buildings. You can also go into the actual cities themselves by left-clicking here. And then we can assign a granary here if there is a city building slot open. There is none currently because there's a marketplace here. But I usually just go to the macro builder. Let's hit granary. Wait. Why can't I click that? Oh, because I built this marketplace. Oh, right click on that. Jeez, Jesus. Okay, granary. Now, normally these are 100 in cost, but it is minus 10 gold because of that surplus in our capital there. So let's build a granary here instead. I typically focus on the capital province, try and raise the granary there first to try and get our population growth as soon as possible. I view population to be very important in this game. I feel. It may not be, but I feel like it is. Oh, but anyway, I got distracted. It's one of those games. I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you for watching. We will jump into a war against our neighbors of the tier Getians, Getians, whatever, in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.